Hello all, Shrinker here. Today I'm bringing you a beginner's guide to Dungeonmans. Straight from the website, Dungeonmans is an epic roguelike adventure inspired by classic RPGs and dungeon crawlers. In Dungeonmans, you create a unique champion and enjoy dozens of hours of tactical combat, deep character customization, and exploration of a world that is randomly generated each time you play. Now, I picked this game up a while back, and I really enjoyed it, so I decided to bring you guys a beginner's guide. Start out, load game. I've already made mine. I'm up to level 15. This is about the highest level you can get. You can still keep earning experience, but getting from 14 to 15 took me about an hour. Getting from 15 to 2% into 15 took me about 2 hours. So I'm not quite sure that they want you to get to level 16 or not, but I know it's going to take like 100 hours or so. So I'm going to go with 15 is just about the highest level you can get. So we're going to create a new academy. First you got to type in your name. I'm going to go with Shrinker Gaming. And then our candidate's name. Every time your character dies, you'll make a new character. And you got to rename him. So we're going to go with Shrinker to begin with. Now you come up with a few stats. You have strength, skill, science, and foom. Strength increases health, stamina. It's the main stat for melee characters. It increases melee damage by a lot. Your skills increase accuracy and range damage. It's your main stat for a ranged fighter. Science increases the effectiveness and duration of potions and status effects. It's a good off stat, but there is no class that uses it specifically. Foom is basically your mana and magic damage, so it's your primary stat of a mana user. So let's see what we have. We have a high skill damage here. To start off, it's good to look for whichever one's highest, but as you start going through the game you get a lot of extra skill points, so it doesn't really matter, but we're going to go with skill. Now, there are 6 different types of champions to start with. These are all starting places. The Fightermans is your normal melee character. And I would say that the easiest 3 to go with are the Fightermans, the Rangermans, and the Wizardmans. Fightermans is melee, Rangermans is your basic archer, and Wizardmans is your magic dealer. Now there's also Necromancer, which uses these things called Grimdarks. Whenever you kill a mob, a Grimdark will spawn on top of it, and you collect them. You can hold up to 5 Grimdarks, and you use them to cast spells. There's also the Dungeonmans, which just is a blank slate, so you get to choose whatever abilities you want to choose. There's Bannermans, which is another melee class. It uses a banner which you place out on the battlefield, and a polearm which has 2 range. So you can hit things a little bit farther away than most melee, but it's still relatively a melee class. The Southern Gentleman's is like a rage type fighter, like say warrior in World of Warcraft. It generates ire whenever you do an auto attack, and you can use that ire to do powerful abilities. It's a melee class of sorts. It's also a range class. It has a bow, but all of its abilities are used with melee. Now, since we got high skill on this one, we're going to go with a Rangermans. These are perks that you get. You get to choose 2 at the start of each character. I'd suggest that you check them all out, but personally I like to use Tireless. For Tireless, is good on any character that uses stamina. It allows you to use the same ability after 2 turns instead of 5 with normal stamina costs. Otherwise it doubles the stamina cost, which is a real drain on your stamina. So I like Tireless, and we're going to go with World Champion. More champion monsters. Go, go. So we have our character. Choose one of the sprites. I'm going to go with my Ranger. And we start the game. Now to begin, you start in your academy. This guy's going to say some stuff. I'm going to skip that. Now, when you're just starting out, the academy isn't going to do anything. You end up leveling up to your academy by bringing stuff back to this little wizard dude, the headmaster. But since I haven't done anything yet, I've got nothing to give to him, and so there's nothing to level up. So we're just going to go ahead and go out on a fight. You go to what's called the overworld. Now, to move in this game, there's two ways to move. You can either use your mouse and click to move, or you can use the arrow keys. And so I prefer using the mouse because it's a lot easier to move diagonally, whereas the arrow keys, it's very hard to get that to go. In fact, I can't actually get it. Now, when you're running around, you'll run into random battles. You can avoid every one of them, so I don't normally like doing these random battles. There's not much that you can get out of it. We're going to go into our first dungeon. Here, this Scrobold Warren always spawns first. You start with a few abilities. The Rangerman's has Quick Dash, which moves you 2 spaces, and Stick and Move, which moves you 3 spaces and automatically fires a shot. Each one costs stamina, and again, if you use them twice in a row, they'll cost double the stamina. Here's our first mob, and you can attack by, you see the cursor goes to a crossbow, just fire at it, and it goes. Every time you move, it counts as 1 turn, and as you move, you gain your stamina back and your health back. You will also gain back mana if you have that. So we're just going to go through and do some fights. Now you see I just took quite a bit of damage, but it does regen back pretty fast. I need to keep these guys at range because they will hurt. That's one thing about Dungeonmans. You will die in this game. It's intended that way, and when you're going through the dungeons, you're gaining levels. You got an experience bar down here. So you gain levels, and you get to get new abilities. Let's get to level 2 real quick. These are the stairs. I don't normally clear the full level. I'm basically just looking to get to the end as quick as possible, because the end will have a champion mob. I try not to let anything get into too close proximity of me, because they will hurt. You see there's loot everywhere, this copper longsword. This is a large inventory system. If you press I, as you see, there's a bunch of different items you can get. Let's see, I picked up the priceless and rare historical artifact. This is something that we bring back to our academy, give it to the headmaster, and we'll get an extra thing for it. Let's see, I'm on level 3 now. And I just got my first level up. So now we're level 2. So to spend your points, you can spend it even when you're in combat. Click on this button over here. And we're just going to go into the Rangermans real quick, and we'll go with Iron Marksman. It's another ability to use your abilities. You grab it, drag it, put it on your bar. And then to use an ability, so first I'm going to attack this guy. He's too close to me. Oh, I'm out of stamina. That's never a good thing. So I'm just going to keep on fighting. Okay, he's dead. Let's take out this caster. As you see, I'm getting low on health already. Alright, so I'm already low on health. One way to gain back the stamina and health is by moving. See, slowly it's come back up. Another way is press R and then rest until healed. Now, a lot of times mobs like that will come at you while you're healing, so you'll have to fight them. Hopefully I don't die to this. But if I do, I can show you guys what happens when you die. I am so gonna die. I don't want to die yet. Let's go back to the next zone. Last zone. We'll rest up here. Nope. Still getting mobs. Okay. Let's try resting again. Still mobs in the way. Getting there. But as we're doing this, we're still leveling up, which is good. Because the levels bring a lot of extra stats, a lot of extra damage. Okay, fully healed. Let's go back down. Just finish this guy off real quick. Now I really want to stay at range as the Ranger Man, because you do more damage with your bow than with your melee attacks. So that's why when they come to me I use my stick and move. And basically what I'm doing is I click number 2, and then click with my mouse, and that'll move me. There's breakable pots in here, and other breakables that you can break in other places. They'll sometimes drop coins, they also drop items. Okay, so I'm low again. I'm gonna try healing up. Really want to get through this one to show you guys what to do once you finish a dungeon. So I'm trying not to die. The early levels are kind of hard, especially for a newly made character that doesn't have access to all the extra ability points. Okay, here's a lot of mobs. This could be bad. This is gonna be bad. Bailing. Oh, I'm almost dead, okay. I really have to bail now. Oh, I'm dead. Well, this will show you what happens when you die. It shows you what you've done, all the XP that you've gotten, and you return to the main menu, load game, hit play again. Make a new character. I'll just see I can't use the name Shrankar. It's taken. So let's go with Shrankard. And let's see, here's a good fighter man, I'll show you that. We're gonna go with Tireless because they use stamina again. And we're gonna go with Southern Born for extra maximum health. Pick up a sprite, be a tank. And we start the game. So we're back in here. I didn't actually bring anything back because I didn't finish a dungeon. So we're just gonna go straight out. We got nothing new. Alright, to the overworld. Let's try this again. Oh, I want to show you guys something. So I died in this dungeon, and you see that little floating blue body, blue ghost thing? That means that there's a dead body in here, so I can collect it. Ooh, and I see a book over here. We're gonna grab that. So with the Fightermans, I get a few abilities. I get Shield Rush, which is a stun and a dash, both rolled into one. It also auto attacks, or does an extra amount of damage. So we're gonna Shield Rush. It stuns them for a turn. That's gonna be your main attack as a Fightermans. See, this guy also has High Guard, which, oops, went back in, which raises shield, which raises his block chance, and whenever you block with High Guard up, you'll automatically perform an attack on whoever you blocked. Alright, so I've used up all of my stamina. I'm going to rest real quick. I'm not going to rest, there's monsters. Let's try this again. There we go. I want to show you guys something. We got two books. They will if you use them, you get 1 point in whatever skill that they say. So cartography and advanced delving. Let's go to advanced delving. Where's that one at? Help if I found it. Here we go. Cartography. Nope, advanced delving. There we go. So you see I don't have any of these yet. I'm going to go ahead and use it just by clicking on it. And now I have the ability. You can also turn in the books back at the base, and I'll show you how to do that after we finish this one. Oh goody, new weapon. The Tin Steel Slammer. So you see the little blue +1 sign there? That means it's slightly stronger than my yesterday's knife. So we're going to put that on. See, anything else we want to use? Oh, we got Terror Boots. So those new boots. The boot slot. That'll make me a little tankier. And we're going to keep going. I'm going to go ahead and drop my Bannerman's banner. So now whenever I attack something, I gain extra health and mana back. Health and stamina back. I'm also going to go ahead and use Battle Fervor. It makes it take 30% less damage. And whenever I kill something, I gain health and stamina. And I'm going to use High Guard, so that whenever I block, I attack. And increase my block. So you see here on the right hand side, these are your combat buffs. You'll also have debuffs on there. And the 8 means I have 8 turns of Fervor, which is my number 4. 3 turns of my block, which is my number 3. And the banner refreshes every turn. Okay, these casters are healing him, so I'm going to go ahead and kill them. My fervor went down, so I'm going to put that back up. Put my block back up since I got a bunch of guys around me. And my banner needs to be put back down. So basically I'm just trying to take out the ranged first, because they're the hardest hitting guys. That and these guys with the shield are very hard to hit at this level. There we go. Time to collect my loot. And that means the champion has just aggroed. I'm going to go back up so I can rest up. Of course, I'm going to have a huge fight here. Okay. Set on my banner. At the same time, it's giving me levels, so it's just making everything easier. Level up. Okay, I'm going to go into here, give my banner an extra little power. Whenever I block, parry, or parry an attack, I get a counterattack, just like if I were to use High Guard. And anything, so the abilities are the square boxes. Anything that isn't a square box is just a passive, so it's not something you have to put on your bar. Okay, so those all died. Let's heal up. And we kill the champion. They'll explode, signifying that this is the end of the level. I'm just going to clear out the mobs here real quick. Alright, now, so we got a bunch of items. This proof of strength right here will give me skill points to use when I get back to town. And the sparkly blue stuff that's coming off means that it's a special item with additional stats. So I'm just going to pick up everything and go to the portal. Just use the portal, you just step on it and click on yourself. And as you see, now that dungeon has a nice little clear sign over it. I'm going to go back to town, turn in my loots. You go back to the headmaster. He's got a bunch more items, more options now. First off, we're going to give him the books that we got. The book that I used won't be given to him, but he will get the one extra book that I have. So he's going to take that, and when you get enough, it ends up expanding the library. When you expand the library with new characters, you go to the library, and that's... Oh, it did expand it. Okay, so it's level 1 now. So now whenever I get a new character, I can come up here, talk to this guy, and instead of the attitude thing, it'll say something like, why don't you do your job? And it identifies all scrolls that I have in my inventory. So you see I've picked up a bunch of stuff. We're going to go down to the scrolls. All these scrolls, what does it do? Well, they need to be identified. And when you level up to level 1, you can identify all level 1 scrolls. It goes up to, I think, level 4 and identifies all level 4 scrolls. That's after you give it a bunch of books. So the other thing we give them are relics. The first thing we got was the piece for the museum. We're going to do that real quick. And it just made a museum for us. The museum's over here. And it has a special thing whenever you kill a mob. You'll get data on them. So you need like 100 or so kobold kills, and then you'll know what level the kobold is. It's nothing too interesting, but you'll be able to bring back mysterious items to him, to the headmaster guy, and then on a new character you'll be able to go to this dude over here and pick him up, and that'll be an item to start the game with. See, over here we have a blacksmith, and here we can melt down items. You melt them down to get these resources down here, and then he will upgrade your starting items, so you can have weapons and shields +1, light armor +1, heavy armor +1, all that good stuff, and that just makes your starting items a little stronger. So let's see, we're going to give him the proof of strength. I'll show you what that does. Oh, and an annotated defibrillator that increases the alchemy lab, which identifies potions for you. So I turn in the proof of strength, and over here we can go ahead and spend that. So whenever you turn one in, you get 2 points for yourself, and if you die, your new character will have 1 point. So I'm going to go ahead and spend that. 2 points, get an extra point of strength. And now we're a little bit stronger. Let's see, the last thing the headmaster will do for you is identify your gear. Now everything's identified. We have all these scrolls identified, new items, none of which are very good. And potions. So I'm going to go ahead and melt down this gear. So let's go back out in the world and I'll show you some more about what you can find out there. Eventually I will get to the end of this. There we go. So there's about 5 types of dungeons out here. This is the normal I call it the normal dungeons. The one nice thing about these is they have extra secret areas that you can find. Oh, and whenever you look at a dungeon to do, you can put your cursor over it, and up at the top here, where it says Shrinkar Gaming, up here, it says trivial. So you can go to that and say, oh, it's trivial. Well, loot will explode out of it. Yay, loot. And looks like we got a new chest piece. We go ahead and identify that, so you can see what the blue items are like. Let's see, so this isn't bad. I get plus 5% total parry and 20 extra cold resist. So I'm going to use that over the one that I had. And yeah, I'm going to go back out in the world. There's also legendary items that you can get. They're pretty rare. I was only finding them at max level. And set items that you can get. Also, I only really found this at max level. So this is our normal dungeon. Let's see what else. Here's the towns. You can buy and sell gear. They're not super useful. I don't really go to them very often. Here's the little skirmishes. I'll show you one of those. They always have a bunch of ranged mobs, and I tend to not do these on a melee character because they are actually quite hard. Though on ranged characters, they're a lot easier than, say, normal dungeon. That's because in a normal dungeon you can open up a door and instantly be attacked by 4 or 5 mobs. Whereas here you can attack these things over the walls just by being in range, and that's really easy. At the end of this, there's a champion mob that you kill. That's about it. I'm not going to finish it. So I want to show you guys a few more of the types of encounters that you can do. So another skirmish, town. Another normal dungeon. Some of the other dungeons are farther out. As you get farther away from your base, it gets harder. So we're in legendary territory right now. A little bit too hard for me to take on. So here we have the ramparts. Not too much to say about that. It's a special dungeon. Very long. Here we have caves. These are pretty common. There's nothing too special in the caves. It's just another type of dungeon that you can do. Looking for the better ones. Oh, force me into a fight. Let's escape this, because I will die. Let's see. These rock walls will block your path. Once you get a certain movement abilities, I'll show you which one I usually use. Once you get hammer and anvil, you can move past it by clicking, and then you can move up to two units. You'll move right through the rock. So that's something to keep in mind. See, here's another specialized dungeon, handcrafted by the creators of the game. There we go, okay. So, here's a tower. These things are great. I'm not going to do this one, because again, it will kill me. But, so it's 4 levels. You spiral up and around, and I've already gotten too close. That's probably going to kill me. Yep, I'm dead. Ah, great. So they spiral up and around. In them, you can find a whole bunch of gold. At the 3rd level, there's these keys that you get. You open 4 different cellars, and it's basically a vault of gold. You can kill some champion mobs, and you get all the gold. Alright, so, like I said, in this game, you're gonna die. But we've gotten some stuff, so I'm going to show you one more champion. This guy. It's not really going to matter, I'm just going to show you the beginning. So I'm just picking some stuff at random. Alright, so we've already brought some stuff back. And all of that stuff that we brought back gave us some extra things. So I'm going to go talk to the library guy. Well, gee, if it isn't too much trouble, yes, please do your job. And we've just identified all these scrolls. We're going to go to the elixir guy. And wouldn't want to waste that knowledge. And we identify all these potions. Let's see. Armory's got nothing for me right now, and I haven't turned in any mysterious items, so there's nothing for me to take. But that's the other thing I would do if starting a new character. One last thing. Well, two last things. Here we have the memorial to my dead bodies. My main game has about 15 of them right now. I've died quite a lot. Just saying what they were, how high they got, and where they were killed. But one last thing to do before you leave. We have stuff to spend. So, we got 1 extra stat point for turning in that piece of strength. And when you get farther in the game, you'll have tons of these. That's really helpful. So that's about it. That's all the basics. The other things to say, in the stats, in the skills, you really want to read through them all, see what you like. You can mix and match. Even though you start at, say, a fighterman's, you don't have to finish the fireman stuff. You can go to necromancer and get the necromancer stuff, or get the southern gentleman stuff, or whatever. Doesn't matter where you start. A few things. The end game is basically a dungeon called Dreadspire. It's quite hard until you get your gear up there. And you're basically just running that dungeon over and over again. There's also the Master's Program, which I think is going to get filled out a little more. There was a message on the Dungeonmans webpage, and I'll put a link to that in the description, about 2 unlockable classes that you can get. I'm going to go ahead and try and get those and show it to you in another video. And yeah. Oh, here, you want to get eventually Reading the Sky. This is a big bonus for you. I'm not going to spoil it too much, but when you're out in the overworld, it'll give you a message, and you'll go to the place that it has the message and see what that's about. The last thing I'll say about that is it's the way to use your star shards, and you find those by killing ancient kings out in the world. Those are big champion mobs. So that's about it. That's my beginner's guide to Dungeonmans. It's a fun game I found. Really enjoyed playing it, and I'm still playing it. I'm gonna make some more videos, try to help you guys out, making your Dungeonmans, showing you what the best tactics that I've found. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe, and go ahead and drop me a comment. Let me know what you think of the game. Thanks for watching.